Hello, hello, hello. I am Queen Lily, and today we are talking about who? Donald Trump, the man of the hour, the man for the season. And here's the reason for all the drama that is going on in this world. May we say drama with Mexico, with Canada, with China, but he really want to tax it too. President Claudia of Mexico. Yes, they have a female as their president in Mexico. And God knows how bad we wanted a woman here in America. Yes. So we got a lot to cover. Again, if you like for me to read your comments, you have to send me a super chat and I will gladly read your comments. Okay. So I'm going to get started. Again, I am Queen Lily. Thank you for coming to my live. So the first thing we're going to look at, and it is about Donald Trump. And Donald Trump will be coming down on the gamers. Not only is he going to hit us with the Project 2025 and take away a lot of our rights, he's coming for you gamers as well. So let's see what that's about, okay?
We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace. It is too easy today for troubled youth to surround themselves with a culture that celebrates violence. We must stop or substantially reduce this, and it has to begin immediately. We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace. It is too easy today for troubled youth to surround themselves with a culture that celebrates violence. We must stop or substantially reduce this, and it has to begin immediately. We must
now, Donald Trump talks about reducing violence, but he encourages MAGA to put on violence through code words. He also said that when the police, hello there, how you doing, the real mulatto? When the police attack, they will not have charges put against them. He will send the military out to your houses and on the streets to attack us. He said the enemy within. Donald Trump look at his American people as the enemy within. That is a slogan from who? Adolf Hitler. So when he's talking about taking away the violence in these gamers, these games that the young people play, I think it's an excellent idea, just the wrong messenger. How can someone of Donald Trump give anybody advice on stopping violence when his people started a whole insurrection at the Capitol? We saw so much violence, Donald Trump. You're not the messenger to stop violence. You are the person that assures it's going to happen. So the next video we're going to watch, this is about union workers. The union workers are mad at Donald J. Trump. And they have their reasons as we have our reasons. Let's watch.
Speaks for itself. This man's never been for the working man, okay? You know, when this guy was a builder in New York City, okay, where he cut his teeth, he ripped off every tradesperson that he could. He ripped off every contractor he could. He put more small businesses out than any government body would ever be able to do. And when he was a president, he was elected the first term, building trades had him come to D.C. He spoke at the NAB2 conference. I was there. He promised us that he was going to be a building president. He was going to build buildings, and he was going to use our people to build them. He told us that he was going to have an infrastructure bill done by Tuesday. He said he was going to help some of these pension plans be fixed by Wednesday. Well, you know what? Just like all of his other promises to his supporters, he didn't deliver to us either, okay? History speaks for itself. This man's never been for the working man, okay? You know, when this guy was a builder in New York City, okay, where he cut his teeth, he ripped off every tradesperson that he could. He ripped off every contractor he could. He put more small businesses out than any government body would ever be able to do. And when he was a president, he was elected the first term, building trades had him come to D.C. He spoke at the NAB2 conference. I was there. He promised us that he was going to be a building president. He was going to build buildings, and he was going to use our people to build them. He told us that he was going to have an infrastructure bill done by Tuesday. He said he was going to help some of these pension plans be fixed by Wednesday. Well, you know what? Just like all of his other promises to his supporters, he didn't deliver to us either, okay? History speaks for itself. This man's never been for the world.
Yes, history speaks for itself. Donald Trump even promised the automobile industry that they will bring more work to this country. But more automobile industries, they shut down, y'all. It didn't happen. Who did when he got in office was President Joe Biden. He brought more to the automobile industry into Ohio, where they say the Haitians are eating the cats, eating the dogs. No, those were the people that Joe Biden brought in that are actually citizens here in the United States of America.
Big news right now. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is threatening to pull funding from a children's hospital in Texas over one doctor's viral post, which told viewers that they did not have to answer a question regarding their citizenship. On November 1st, an executive order went into effect requiring Texas hospitals that accept Medicaid or children's health insurance plan to ask patients if they're U.S. citizens. But a cardiologist at the Texas Children's Hospital made a viral video on TikTok saying that if asked, you don't actually have to answer the question. And Greg Abbott, as a result, posted on his Twitter saying, quote, "Hey, Texas Children's Hospital and Baylor College of Medicine, this doctor is putting your Medicaid and Medicare funding at risk." He added that there will be, quote, "consequences for failing to follow the law in the order." But that doctor isn't the only one who says that you don't have to answer the question. The San Antonio Metropolitan Health District released a flyer informing patients that they don't have to tell their hospital about citizenship status. It is pretty abhorrent that the Texas governor is threatening to pull funding from a children's hospital over one doctor's video. In any event, comment below your thoughts, spread the word, and follow along for all the news you need to know about. We have some big news right now.
I like the idea that they're not required to give up the information like that, because what is happening, Project 2025 is going to shut down the Medicaid, the Medicare, the Obamacare, which people are crying about now because they said they didn't want Obamacare. Well, okay, you won't have health care. Your grandmother's going to be without health care. Your grandfather, your auntie, they're going to be without health care, because Project 2025 will go into effect soon as Donald Trump get into office. He said it himself. Out through his campaign, doing his rallies, he denied Project 2025. Now he is owning it. He's loving it. He's socking it to you, MAGA, that if your loved ones are receiving free health care through Project 2025, finito, done. And this is Donald Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense. I'm going to read you something about him, okay? Accused by his own mother. The mother of Pete has said Trump's pick for Secretary of Defense wrote an email in 2018 calling him an abuser of women. On behalf of all the women, and I know it's many, his mother said, you have abused in some way. I say, get some help and take an honest look at yourself. I have no respect for you anymore. No respect for any man that belittles, lies, cheats, sleeps around, and use women for his own power and ego. That is what his mother said. And he is the pick for Secretary of Defense. Some reason Donald Trump keep picking these people that are pedos and sexual abusers and violent abusers. Is it because Donald Trump himself is that person? Because he has been said to be an abuser, an sexual abuser as well. And it has been notified and on paper that Donald Trump is an sexual abuser, a SA abuser to women. So what do I expect when his whole new cabinet administration is full of, get me, full of pedos and abusers? You get what you paid for, MAGA.
You know, there's been a lot of people around the globe that have been watching what's happening right now in the United States, just saddened by what they know is going to be our demise, because Kevin Roberts, the president of Heritage Foundation, the brains behind Project 2025, like the center point of it all, they've been reading his book, the book that he wrote that was had the foreword written by J.D. Vance. That one was released around the globe. They just delayed the release in the United States because they didn't want America, and especially Trump supporters, to know what's in store for us. But see, here's the thing. It was just now released. And, you know, Here's what I got to say. There's going to be all sorts of phases where Trump supporters start to say, what the fuck did I do? And that's going to come when they say, what the fuck did I just do to myself? Because Project 2025 is going to affect everyone's lives. Oh my God. They thought that it was just about like trans girls and lowering the price of eggs. Really? Is that really? And drag queens? Oh no. So there's a lot of Republicans that have kids that are in special needs, have special needs in public schools. And that's going to go bye-bye. And they're going to say, what's going on? And they're going to write their Republican senators and their Republican House reps. And, you know, maybe they'll get the kind of response that one woman just got from a North Carolina. It was either a senator or a rep, Republican. When she said, I'm really worried about the abortion ban that you're pushing. I actually agree that it shouldn't be used for contraception, but I already had an ectopic pregnancy. And I'm afraid that if that happens again, and I don't get medical care, I'm going to lose my ability to ever have children in the future. And he wrote a response and it said, well, I'm sorry, if you don't like it, move to China or Russia. So, yeah, there's going to be a what the fuck did I just do wake up call to Republicans when it starts to affect their personal lives. One of the earliest parts is going to be the very low information voters who are hard workers. And they didn't believe their unions when they said this not paying taxes on overtime hours isn't going to mean anything because under the Project 2025's Department of Labor, employers are going to get to force you. They're going to be able to force you to work up to 50 hours a week at your normal pay before it's even considered overtime. And, you know, it's just going to affect Republicans and they're going to be like, what the fuck did I just do at some point? But the best part of this book is what it does to women. That whole Handmaid's Tale thing, Kevin Roberts lays it out beautifully. Why they are banning pornography, why they are banning contraception, why the national ban for abortions, why the bans for no-fault divorces, why getting rid of all of the funds and programs that help single mothers. It's all to force women to have to become dependent on their husbands. And all of these are to help activate higher rates of procreation. We'll put it that way. Besides forcing women to live under a true biblical sense. And he lays it all out in his book. So in Texas, where they already, Republicans already submitted a bill to ban no-fault divorces, there's going to be, you know, those MAGA parents who already had a daughter or two and said, you need to divorce that man. He's abusing you. We're going to help you pay for the divorce. You come back and live with us. You know, they have all lived those scenarios. And they're not going to get that anymore. Their daughters are going to get married to some narcissist abuser, oh my God, I love being the controller of the house because the government now tells me I can be. And they'll get away with abusing these women and forcing them to get pregnant. And mommy and daddy who voted for Trump will just have to say, I'm sorry, honey, but that's how I voted. You're stuck. You get to stay in the marriage. His book takes all the policies that are they're going to be coming out in the next 100 days with all these appointments in government. And it explains in a theocracy point of view how women are going to be controlled and made to be submissive. And especially the white men are going to be at the top. By the way, side note, this whole stock market jump right now going on with, you know, people celebrating how the stocks are doing after Trump's announcement. That's literally just a transition of even more wealth from our young generation, from the working class to the millionaire and billionaire class in just a matter of weeks. That's what that is. Which Project 2025 already helps the billionaire class and the corporate class. That's all there. That's all in there. You know, the deregulating and all that kind of stuff so that these corporations can hang on to even more of the profits at the expense of the environment, workers, and consumers. So anyway, I don't expect MAGA supporters to pick up the whole book and read it. Sadly, it's all going to happen in phases. And I'm not going to give a shit because I'm going to be focusing on midterms. You know, there's been a lot.
I agree with her. Too bad MAGA doesn't pick up a book because I read some of Project 2025. I'm going to be prepared. And someone left a comment in my comments saying that to read the comments, you send me a super chat and I will gladly read your comment. I don't read comments for free because all MAGA does is talk shit in my chat and like to insult me. A queen gonna sit on her throne and enjoy herself while y'all are in my life. Thank you.
I am a cult scholar and cult survivor of one of the world's most extreme cults, the Children of God. And I'm going to tell you how the cult 45, cult of MAGA, happened and Donald Trump being president as its biggest manifestation. All right, I'm going to use my little list here. Okay, so this goes back to the Reagan era, right? And Reagan did one significant thing, which was remove the truth in journalism standards. And this is when Rupert Murdoch starts Fox News, amongst many other things, right? As entertainment. It doesn't have to be news anymore. It was the first thing a wannabe dictator or cult leader does, makes you distrust the media. Okay. So the evangelical leadership at this time, they get together to decide on their worldview and transcendent mission. Yes, just like any of these business conferences you have been to where the C-suite gets together and decides. And they decided they were going to pick two things, right? Their transcendent mission, you have to tie it to life and death if you really want to get people culted, right? That was going to be save the babies, right? And then you need an other, you need an outsider, you need a threat. And they decided that that was going to be hating members of the LGBTQ community. That'll bond us, okay? This is sort of your worldview, of course, Christian nationalism, right? This is what we are going for. And the sacred assumption, we are right? And this all comes about why? Why? Oh, because white Christian America is scared that patriarchy is coming down and white supremacy is coming down. And America doesn't feel to them like a white nation anymore. Okay? So you're getting your worldview, you're getting your mission. Mission is save the babies, but don't forget to hate people. And save the babies is so important that it requires any level of self-sacrifice. And this is really important because in order to break cult members down, you have to get them to sacrifice their personal identity. Okay, so the mission has to be really good, often after some space travel. And you got to get them willing to sacrifice their identity. It happens in many different ways. They don't know that they're doing that, but they're doing that, right? The years move on. The isolation and insulation from the world is increasing because now more and more and more we're only listening to Fox News, which of course Donald Trump has ramped up by only since 2016 by training his people that they will only hear from him on Fox News. He also has just one way to message all of his people, right? A good cult leader is always going to have that. They are all listening to the things he says, and he knows how to keep himself on television all of the time. The leader puts the photos of them everywhere and starts having every word they say reported. This is another part of programming people. There's a reason we're not used to hearing from American presidents all of the time, and when we are, it is jarring. It should be. Okay, so now we have the isolation. We are getting more and more polarized in the US all of the time, presented these black and white choices, and politics has never been more polarized. They start having their own internalized language. This is when we see terms like reverse racism and white Yenicide coming straight out of Christian nationalism and the alt-white into mainstream red America, right? Really their own language, their own facts, and the isolation growing more and more extreme. Of course, we have COVID. Isolation does what isolation does, and isolation ramps up extremism. And isolation makes it more important to us. We inherently know when we're isolated in a group away from the world, we know that we need to fit in order to survive. That's why total institutions are always risky places, and places where group norms matter a lot, and everyone needs to act more and more similar. Appearance control starts coming up, right? And appearance control is always
Kid Gruesome said God preaches love and Trump preaches hate. Hallelujah. Say it again. Say it for the people in the back.
And then you have the us versus them mentality, which, as we said, we picked a group of people and we were going to make them our issue, whether they are or not. Okay, so you got that. You've got this us versus them mentality, and of course, you have the evil other side that is unaliving the babies, right? Helping you with your mission. Your us versus them is solid, and so is your persecution complex. And research shows that the perception of persecution is enough to make people commit acts of violence on behalf of their in-group as actual oppression is. So yeah, the whole like angry white men thing going on, like that's part of what happened. They perceive they are persecuted, and you know what? They're right. Patriarchy is coming down. It's you're not just going to get handed stuff on a silver platter because you're a white man anymore. Like it's coming down. The cracks are there. I'll give a tiny bit of good news at the end. Us versus them mentality. Then you get to step 8, which is the most significant, and it ties to the self-sacrifice because we've already taught you you're not an individual, and we did that. Why? So that you'll live in an almost dissociated state and let us take your labor. Think about all those church ladies with their smiles for their babies, the dead eyes, right? And all of the children's labor that is sacrificed in pursuit of this.
Jonathan Young says that Trump won. Cry about it. Baby, this pretty face ain't crying. Not at all. Maybe your mama crying. God bless.
Getting it. You know, because now we are on high exit and entrance costs. Trump has made it very, very clear that if you are not 100% loyal, your everything is over, right? People are legitimately concerned for Liz Cheney and others that he might take revenge on, right? The exit costs of not supporting the cult are high. The entrance costs are high. Most people have lost members of their family to Cult 45. This is one of the most common entrance costs that we pay, burning bridges with family and friends. It also sometimes keeps us from being able to leave the cult. And finally, ends justifies the means mentality, right? We will do anything. We will justify anything, including elected a rapist, convicted felon who has already tried to overthrow democracy and has told us that he wants to be a dictator. Oh, and by the way, a country under a totalitarian leadership is a type of cult. I did mention a tiny bit of good news, so I'll end there. The way that cults end is when they fail to keep or recruit the next generation. We saw that happen with the Children of God. I lived through that happening. You can get copies of Uncultured Science here, by the way, about growing up in the Children of God cult and then going into the cult of the U.S. Army. And the way that cults fail to end is they fail to keep or recruit the next generation. And you know what? All U.S. Army is failing to recruit this generation now. and Trump's appointing someone who doesn't think women should be in combat, an argument we already solved. So he's going to make his own military weaker. The only age demographic that Trump carried was boomers and higher. And while there's not a lot of silver lining about Shady Vance, it will be the first time a millennial is in the White House. So, like, we're going to have some dark times, and we are going to be tested. And we, especially white women, are probably going to have to get uncomfortable and actually make some sacrifices. But I do believe overall, like, the cult is not going to win. The cult is already... We're living through the largest exodus of religion. Utah had 5% more Democratic voters. That's how many ex-Mormons there are now. So, you know, all the money in the world, all the power in the world. You can't keep the children. Your cult dies off eventually.
MAGA and Donald Trump are mad because white women are not making babies like they used to. So they feel disintegrated. They feel the white race is dying. And the Mexicans are making those babies in America until black and brown just gonna take over. And y'all afraid, MAGA. You are afraid. You are so afraid that black and brown people are gonna take over. Well, black people are more educated than y'all these days. Well, the brown people are making more babies than you. So tell your white women, stop going to get the abortions and start making more babies. Because your white women are not telling y'all when they're carrying and they're going to get it taken out of their bodies because they don't want to be destroyed by you white men. Because the white man is tearing down the country. But what the white man does, he look at every other race and point the finger. It's your fault, you black people. It's your fault, you brown people from Mexico. Mexico is growing. They're outdoing America for its growing, while America is falling behind because the white man, all he knows to do is take and destroy. Mexico is growing because they have a female president. They have a female president. The female is greater than the male. We're smarter than the male. While the white male want to take over everything, he destroys it. He want to get rid of the immigrants, which they're not really immigrants because Mexicans was here before the white European man. Mexicans are part of the original people that were here. They used to own California, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and the list goes on and on and on. But what did the white men do to the Mexicans? They took it. That's what you did. And I noticed in my beautiful chat, the white men of MAGA get in my chat and say I'm racist. Baby, a black person can't be racist. You sound like a fool. How can we be racist when your family enslaved us? And what did your pappy and grandpa do? They made y'all suck our grandmother's nipples. Now you're part of me. Deal with it. Sit with it. Settle with it. Settle in your pissy depends like Donald J. Trump.
Okay, I'm sitting here on my couch eating SpongeBob mac and cheese and watching Outer Banks, and I just have a couple like initial post-election thoughts. I've like officially reached a point of anger, and I'm not an angry person, so I'm just trying to channel it. The first one being, this country does not deserve Kamala Harris. That woman should go live her best life wherever she wants, doing whatever she wants, because we don't deserve her at this point. The only people that delivered this election were Black women, and we failed them. And it's just heartbreaking, and we've got to do whatever we can to support them and support our people through these next 4 years. Another one is,
I'm going to do you a favor,
these people have
John.
to live in their own skin, as in JD Vance and Donald Trump have to be JD Vance and Donald Trump. And that is not a punishment I would wish upon anybody except those two individuals. Yeah, so I'm just really grateful that I am who I am and that I'm on the side of love and hope and joy and progress.
I'm going to pause this a minute, just a minute. Who can be a more of a race baiter than your savior, Donald Trump? Tell me, John, really, John, as beautiful as I am, I can't be a race baiter. I'm soft. I'm a woman. We're not as evil as you white men, but we're better.
Sitting here on my couch eating SpongeBob mac and cheese and watching Outer Banks, and I just have a couple like initial post-election thoughts. I've like officially reached a point of anger, and I'm not an angry person, so I'm just trying to channel it. The first one being, this country does not deserve Kamala Harris. That woman should go live her best life wherever she wants, doing whatever she wants, because we don't deserve her.
Thank you, Miss Teach.
The only
Thank
people
you,
that
Queen.
delivered this election were Black women, and we failed them. And it's just heartbreaking, and we've got to do whatever we can to support them and support our people through these next 4 years. Another one is, these people have to live in their own skin, as in JD Vance and Donald Trump have to be JD Vance and Donald Trump. And that is not a punishment I would wish upon anybody except those two individuals. Yeah, so I'm just really grateful that I am who I am, and that I'm on the side of love and hope and joy and progress. Yeah, that's what I've got so far. I definitely am going to have more thoughts as time goes on, and I think I'm going to share them on here. I think it's a good outlet. But yeah.
Thank you so much, Miss Teach. Thank you, Queen. You are bad. You are appreciated.
What could have been, what should have been. But that's not where we are, and that's not reality. And I'm giving myself the week to accept that and to be in it, and then the work starts. So we got this, America. We're gonna be okay. Okay.
I love her for that message. Just last week, I don't know if it was Thursday, I could be mistaken. Governor Tim Walz and VP Kamala Harris, they did a call, and they welcome all their supporters to the call, which you can watch it on YouTube because somebody has placed the call on YouTube. And we got to see them because we haven't had the chance to see VP Kamala Harris in quite some time. And to see Governor Tim Walz, I love that man. I love that man. The joy he would bring, he would come out at the rallies, y'all. I went to 2 of the rallies. It's gonna be missed. Tim Walz, his wife got an amazing husband. And VP Kamala Harris, Doug is an amazing husband. Oh my God, y'all. When I look at Mexico's president, she's a female. I say, God, that is growth. That is growth because they're not afraid to allow a beautiful woman to run the country, knowing they are in good hands. Men, they are so afraid here in the United States that a woman is going to take over. But they trust us with their children, but they do not trust us to run this country. They trust us when they're not healthy and they're sick, but you can't trust us to take care of this country. How sad. You know what's so sad? Y'all look down on Mexico and call their country a third world country. But they trust the woman. They trust the woman that God put here to birth your beautiful children. But you can't, white man. I'm putting it on the white man because the white man is the destroyer of America. You can. Not meaning all. When I'm speaking, that's not in general. That I'm talking about the men of MAGA and the weak-minded Black men that are for Donald Trump. Not all Black men and not all white men. There are some great men in the United States, but they are very few because they are so afraid that the woman gonna get ahead. And white man, you're so afraid that the Black woman's gonna get ahead. Well, the Black woman is most educated in the United States. Accept it. Accepted. Women, white, Black, Hispanic, French, Nigerian, Haitian, we are taking over. No matter how you try to stop us, you try to take away our rights. But you know what? Women are smart enough to know a way to get around you men with your BS. When you men, you need to know women are so much smarter than you. Not saying you're bad people, because all men are not. I'm speaking to the MAGA white men, the MAGA Black men, the MAGA Hispanic men, and the race of them under Donald Trump and on. If we can birth a baby and we can birth a nation, We can birth and support and take care of this country. Women are taught every day to trust the man. Why can't y'all trust women? Y'all look at women as only good for birthing babies and to lay on our backs. But that is not reality. Do your research. Black women, the most educated, the most open up small businesses. Black women, we the ones that put President Joe Biden in the White House. I love President Joe Biden. I love his wife, Dr. Jill Biden. Listen to the ring of that, Dr. Jill Biden. He married a great woman. And before he's leaving up out that office, look at all the great things Joe Biden is doing. He appointed 61 Black judges, lifetime judges. And he's going to do the same for Jack Smith because Donald Trump has a goal to fire Jack Smith because Jack Smith released those documents telling the truth about Donald Trump. What I know about Donald Trump, he can't handle the truth. He doesn't like the truth. He's a man of lies. He lied 31 times through the presidential debate with VP Kamala Harris. When is America going to wake up and be honest with themselves? But the white man has lived in so many lies. He come from lies. His ancestors laid out lies. So all he know to do is lie. And all he know to do is think the woman is nothing. And you want to take away the rights of women. Women in my chat, I don't care what race you are, I love you. Project 2025 is going to take away everything. Everything. But women, we are smarter than them. The man never know what we really think. The man never know what a woman really feels. And that's where our power lays. Somebody just put in the chat that VP Kamala Harris is not Black. Okay. Silly of you. Grow up. One moment, please. One moment. A sucker is born every day, God. Yes, God, a sucker is born every day. Where do these people come from, God? Where? They talk out the side of their neck so much. It's just unrealistic. I don't know where y'all come from. God help them. I pray that God cover your mind and soul. How can you speak on Black when you're not Black? I'm sitting here Black with Indian heritage as well. How can you speak on Black when you're not Black? Thank you, Miss Teach. How can you speak on Black when you're not Black? I can speak on Donald Trump because I see and I hear him. So I can speak on him. Kamala Harris is Indian and Black. Let her live. Let her live her beautiful Black life. Her daddy's sperm was from him, a Black man from Jamaica. Not even my complexion, a little darker than me. Help them, Lord Jesus, for they don't know better. They spend their lives always trying to take away from Black people. Help them, Lord. What is this? What is this? A Black man. Who is that? VP Kamala Harris with her beautiful Black father. His hair is nappy than mine. And mine is naturally curly. A Black woman. That's a Black man. Hold on. Teach one. Teach. Oh, help him, Jesus. Who is this? VP Kamala Harris with her mother. An Indian woman. Beautiful Indian woman. Stop hating. Every race is beautiful. The white man decided to have race. Race did not exist till the European decided he wanted to be something called race. Everybody come from the Black woman. You come from an African woman. Know your history. Black people, Africans, were here before anybody. So we're just going to keep falling in the trap every day, getting him fighting with each other and doing what Donald Trump wants. He wants us to hate each other. I thank each and every last one of y'all for coming to my chat. I truly do appreciate you all, even the ones that come in here every day and say mean things to me. Thank you all, and may God bless you. Y'all have an amazing day. I love each and every last one of you, okay? Before this day ends, say something nice to each other. Before this day ends, tell somebody you love them. Before this day ends, really sit with yourself and say, God, why do I not like that black woman? Because y'all come in here and say so many ugly things to me, and then you think I don't supposed to say anything back to you because you're of the white race. Honey, I am a human being and I'm a black woman. I will read you down to your pissy depends. So let's be nice to each other. I want to go to heaven. I don't want to go to hell. But I will push you down in hell. You keep effing with me. Let's be nice. That's the only way to get to heaven. You can't get to heaven because of Donald Trump. Okay? And I can't get to heaven because of VP Kamala Harris. I love you all. Have a nice weekend. Bye.